The true appeal of Dale Earnhardt wasn't his 7 championships or 76 victories or the man in black Intimidator persona. The reason we were all drawn to Dale Earnhardt was in fact the total opposite of his larger-than-life stature.
He was as hard a driver, I think, as NASCAR has ever had.
There was a purity about his driving. There was a purity about his love for the sport.
He was a racer. He put racing above everything.
He raced his way to have everything he had, and without racing, he didn't have nothing.
I think there was a real war going on inside it, one that he had to win.
There was nothing that he did that he didn't want to be the best at.
I never saw anybody any better than him.
Well, he's just almost like Superman, just invincible.
I think he worked hard on portraying himself as the tough guy, but if you looked in his eyes, the guy was a very kind man.
He was every man on one hand and virtually a Superman on the other.
A legend in his own right as a driver, Junior Johnson.
And there's the checkered flag. Richard Petty wins the Daytona 500.
And Dale Earnhardt will celebrate his record-tying 7th NASCAR Winston Cup championship.
I always had the feeling that we had the best racing in auto racing.
You either get bigger or you get smaller. You can't stand still.
Welcome to the NASCAR Hall of Fame biography of Dale Earnhardt, one of the 5 inaugural inductees. Known worldwide as the Intimidator, for his fearless driving style, Dale dominated his sport. To his legion of fans, he was one of their own, a Pied Piper for the masses, leading them by droves to the gates of stock car racing. Here is Dale Earnhardt's story, as told by friend and news anchor Brian Williams.
Dale Earnhardt wasn't just a racing hero. He was one of us. I found that out firsthand. I made a pilgrimage to Talladega with my young son. I introduced him to Dale. Dale let my boy touch his famous black number 3 Chevy and said it was for good luck. Dale said if he won the race that day, he expected to see us down in victory lane. 3 hours later, there we stood. Some people become heroes because they live above the rest of us. But the real heroes are the ones who never leave us. They never forget where they came from, and they honor us by embracing us back. That describes my friend Dale Earnhardt. In the 50s, Kannapolis, North Carolina was like a lot of blue-collar towns scattered across this country. Some produced steel, others grew food or made cars. In Dale's hometown, they produced thread and sheets and clothes, all created inside the world's largest textile mill. In the shadow of Plant 1 was the Earnhardt home, located on Sedan Street in a neighborhood called Cartown. That's where Ralph Earnhardt built and worked on his race cars. He'd done his time in the mill, but traded a life covered in lint for one covered in dirt. Ralph and Martha Earnhardt raised 5 children, 3 boys, 2 girls. They all watched their dad race, but Dale became obsessed.
Well, I've always had that yearn inside, or that fire going to compete, to win. Watching my dad race, growing up around racing, I was just like, I can't wait till I can do that. I want to drive. I want to be in it. And I would experience his races as if I was in them.
Ralph died of a heart attack in 1973. Dale was left in charge of the family business.
Dale started here in 1973. He basically did mechanic work. Of course, he always worked on cars and worked at an alignment shop and balancing and brakes and that type of stuff. One time he came over to get my car to get a little work done on it. And of course, I remember that pretty well because he was backing it up. He was wide open. When he went up the highway, he was wide open. So he never changed a whole lot when he started racing. He was working 2 races, cleared a little over $200, I think, every other week. I think my father was the one that quoted that, you know, you better stay here and work. You know, if you go racing, you'll go broke, you know, which applied to about 99% of people, but he was the exception to the rule.
Dale married 3 times. The first 2 fell apart under the pressure of racing.
He was racing for food. I mean, imagine that, racing to pay your bills, racing to keep your electric on at night, racing to pay so your house is heated when you come home so your children and your wife don't freeze.
In the 80s, both Dale's racing career and his personal life started to get some traction. He met Teresa and began to compile what might be called the greatest career in NASCAR history.
That season '87, we won 6 out of the first 8 races. That kind of an accomplishment in sports, that kind of domination just doesn't come around very often at all.
Suddenly, Dale Earnhardt wasn't just another kid from Kannapolis.
It was tough, but we made it. I had folks tell me when I was trying to race, hey, you need to get a job. You need to do this maybe part-time on Saturday night or something, but you need to get a job. If I can win races and be a contender for that championship, I'm staying where I am, and I'm not ready to back off a bit. Things haven't changed for me a bit when it comes to mashing the throttle.
By 1987, Dale Earnhardt was firmly established as NASCAR's biggest star. But thanks to his enthusiastic driving style, he heard boos and cheers from the stands. Some said he was reckless, others said he was fearless.
You get your front end in there, and the guy tries to cut you off, or he tries to do what he can to keep you back there. You stand your ground. And a lot of times it comes out bad, but a lot of times you win races too.
But whether or not they loved him, no one could deny his greatness after a tense, adrenaline-fueled all-star afternoon at the Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Bill Elliott goes his right in behind. Look how close he is to Earnhardt coming down off turn number 4. Elliott trying to slide underneath him, and Dale won't buy it. He closes again right in behind Earnhardt coming down off turn 4. And Earnhardt loses it, goes on the grass, comes back, and Elliott goes inside. And Earnhardt still got the lead. Incredible piece of driving by Earnhardt.
Today, we know it as the pass in the grass.
Now look at this. Little kiss there.
And I didn't try to wreck, didn't run him in the wall or nothing. Then he tried to wreck me after the caution there. I think he's a little upset.
In an instant, Dale Earnhardt was his own man. And when his car turned black the following season, that man became the Intimidator.
The nickname the Intimidator just came along.
Dale ruffled established NASCAR stars.
I reckon it's because I drove a little aggressively back then.
His victories came at their expense.
Earnhardt, the Intimidator, would take a young guy under his wing and sort of help guide him and teach him things. But off the racetrack, it came through conversations, you know, me asking him a lot of questions or him saying, hey, give you a heads up, this is happening, this is happening. I looked in my mirror so often, you know, and saw that black hood coming at me.
During the week, he'd shake their hands, pat them on the backs, maybe even take them hunting. But on weekends, he'd put them in the wall.
When I think of Bristol, I think of Dale Earnhardt because I think that was his kind of racetrack. I mean, it's a fast track. It's hard to pass, and very seldom do you finish the race there without tire marks on your car.
He gets way down on the apron of the track, coming to the white flag. There's a leader change, and Labonte takes the lead. And meanwhile, Ricky Bell trying to...
I was kind of young and cocky and wide open, you know, and he was the Intimidator. And I found myself racing Earnhardt a lot.
A war for first place. It's Earnhardt and Wallace at it. Getting better than this. For the championship is enjoying right here. Remember, Earnhardt leads Wallace by 72 points.
We had this kind of rivalry going a little bit, but it wasn't this hate thing, you know. We got along good. He went, hey, that's pretty good, kid. I kind of like how you did that, you know. I pride myself thinking that I had a pretty cool relationship with the guy.
You gotta speed up.
Somebody made a joke about selling T-shirts. I'll never forget, he grabbed a hold of me and said, don't let these guys lead you down a dirt road. You take care of yourself. You pat your name. He said, you know, I'm going to negotiate my own deals. I'm going to help build this industry. And he was the guy that basically got this merchandise thing off and running. He was one of the first guys to get in there and go, hey, I'm going to patent my name. I'm going to use my name. I'm not going to give my name away to people. And I'm going to have control of my destiny when it comes to the merchandising end of it. He was just a really cool guy in that aspect. We did talk quite often, and so I feel like I understood him more than most.
Heck, it's always been there. I always wanted to win. I always wanted to race. First, I just wanted to get in a race car. Got in a race car, and then I got a taste of racing, and then I wanted to win. Won, now I want to win all the time. You win a championship, got to have another one.
Fame can be a difficult friend. Dale Earnhardt's circle of friends was tight. He was friendly to all, but close just to a chosen few.
I drove down to Atlanta to the race and, you know, just was overwhelmed by NASCAR, and, you know, I'd love to meet him, but don't take me over there if it's going to be a problem. And we went over. Dale was in the car, sound asleep. You know, it's an hour before the race, and I was just amazed that anybody could be that relaxed. And we just hit it off.
Jody, you've become quite a race fan, huh?
Oh yeah, I love it. Ever since I've met Dale, what's it been, 4 or 5 years?
I think it's been about 6.
Well, whatever. It's been a long time. I really followed it. Try to watch it every week.
Jody and I deer hunt together and enjoy doing a lot of things together like that.
Our common ground was our hunting together. It was both of our escapes, I'd say.
The overall desire to win, I think, and the desire to be competitive is really what we can relate with in our relationship.
I'm gonna kill a bigger deer than you.
Well, that's...
Who's the best shot?
He's pretty good with a rifle.
We spent a lot of time together. We talked to each other 2 or 3 times a week on the phone, and Dale made me an honorary member of the team. And back before they had the signs, I used to go over the wall and actually hold the sign, stop the car. And as soon as I was out of baseball, I was just about at every race that they had. I felt included. I felt part of the team.
You're ready.
Hi, I'm Jody Davis, catcher of the Atlanta Braves, a big race fan, a big Dale Earnhardt fan.
You know, I got a lot of great memories and a lot of great pictures in Victory Lane, and it's just something special.
I got this song that I do that's the name of it's called Rebecca. And the first line is, Rebecca, Rebecca, honey, get your big fat legs off of me. And he just loved that. I got him to come up on stage somewhere. We were playing down in Florida, I think. He couldn't sing, but he was up there and just let it all hang out. That was a lot of fun. Everybody loved it. He did it with a lot of gusto.
Are you gonna flag all day, or you gonna go to sleep again like you always do?
I'll probably sleep half of it.
Are you gonna give anybody the passing flag, or are you just gonna ignore everybody?
I'm gonna give you the passing flag if you get in the way.
If you pull that black flag out on me, you better be looking for me after the race is over.
I don't have to look for you. I'll see you before the race and during the race.
If you pull a black flag on me, you know what's gonna happen, don't you?
I know you're gonna move over, I hope.
No more Harold Kennedy.
Those allowed in were few and far between. Rarely was a group more fortunate.
Smile, dude.
I'm smiling.
Wipe sweat off of you.
Wipe the sweat off of you, too.
I'm not sweating. I don't sweat. Never sweat.
There's some guys out there that I've heard have feathers on their legs, sort of, when it comes to some things about racing. Then I got this friend that told me one time I was climbing the mountain and I was grumbling about being tired and how steep it was. And he said, boy, you better get you some kerosene rags. And I said, what? He said, you better get some kerosene rags. They keep them piss ants from climbing up there and eating your candy ass. That's the way some drivers are, too.
Leave the arm, this arm, where it is shortened up.
When Dale Earnhardt wanted something to get done, it got done. Simple as that.
Run a non-adjuster over here and run the adjuster over there.
At the track, he used his influence to make changes to the sport. Whether it was racetrack improvements, race car alterations, or changes to the NASCAR rule book, his lobbying skills were worthy of a job on Capitol Hill.
My first encounter with Dale was back in Bristol in his rookie year when he came to Bristol to race, and he was already showing signs of success. Was covering him as a sports director of a radio station in Bristol, and went down in the infield and interviewed him. And immediately he was charismatic. His personality kind of drew you to him, but he never let the personal relationship get in his way of voicing his opinion.
Well, first of all, we're racing at a big disadvantage with no spoilers and no surveillances. We're against everything else that's racing out there. When that NASCAR needs to do something, we can't half drive the cars after the tires get worn.
Dale would take it on himself to be either the ripple or the calming effect. When a driver or a crew member might have appeared to have been going in the wrong direction, Dale would personally take that on and say, look, let me explain something to you. Let me share an experience that I had.
Don't be racing side by side when you see the leaders come up and give you that passing flag. Get in single file and let the leaders get by you. The pit road is a big thing that you got to remember. You run fast here and you don't think you're going that fast coming down pit road. You get in brakes, you start sliding, it's going to slide to the inside.
Or let me just be quite candid with you and tell you that you're screwing up. He was a good communicator up and down. You know, it wasn't unusual for the phone to ring here at 6:30 in the morning, and I knew it was going to be one of two persons. It was either going to be Bill France or Dale Earnhardt. And their relationship was about as strong as anyone I've seen in the sport.
We spent a lot of hours talking about this, that, and the other, how to move the sport forward. A lot of drivers only looks after themselves. If they got an idea and a suggestion, at the end of the day, it's for them. Dale also looked after the sport.
He really became a very clear voice in terms of, you know, we would go to him, he would come to us to give us some counsel on, you know, things we were thinking about with the rules or the packages. My dad was very close to him. He didn't get close to too many drivers, but Dale, he had a special admiration. I mean, almost like he was a father figure to Dale.
Anybody that saw anybody drive would tell you that he's about as good as we've ever had.
Perhaps the best driving he ever did was at Talladega. At the super speedways, they always said Dale could see the
It'll be 5 to go this time by. Earnhardt back there, running back for about 50's buddy. Earnhardt trying to come up through the middle.
Listen to this crowd of 170,000 strong. Dale Earnhardt Sr. has come from 17th spot in 4 laps to lead it on the final lap. Mr. Restricted Race, Dale Earnhardt comes down and will take his 10th career victory. And if you're a NASCAR fan, you love this one. If you weren't a NASCAR fan, you became one today. But 170,000 strong stood and cheered.
To me, racing is the ultimate. I mean, that's what I live for. I mean, when you talk about doing a job or doing something you really enjoy, I mean, there's nobody in the world could think about doing something that I enjoy more than racing.
There are certain combinations in the sports world that just work. NASCAR's version of a dream team was the pairing of Dale Earnhardt and car owner Richard Childress.
Dale Earnhardt put our sport on a complete different level. The things that Dale brought to our sport and the everyday fans, I think Dale was one of the reasons our sport escalated like it did.
In 1981, Childress took himself out of the number 3 car to make room for Dale, who had won the Cup Series title a year before. At the end of the season, they parted ways, agreeing to team back up when the time was right.
So I suggested to him to go with Bud Moore at the time because I knew we didn't have the equipment and the people, and he was much more better driver than what we had to offer.
2 years later, that time came.
And Dale and I got back together in '84, and the way I see it, the rest of it's history.
6 championships later, a dynasty and a lifelong friendship had been built.
They call them a flying aces, and you're about to see why. David Smith on Jack. Chocolate Myers tosses that empty gas can. Bobby Moody will in. Hammer home those lug nuts. Down he goes. He's gone.
Both men grew up in North Carolina's Piedmont region. Both lost their fathers at an early age. Both were high school dropouts and self-made men.
I think one of the reasons that we both got along so good, and we both came up the hard way, racing dirt tracks and asphalt and anywhere we could. And it's just one of them friendships that you were loyal to each other all the way up to the end. You know, probably one of the coolest things was winning the Daytona 500. We all knew what it meant to him to win that race. And I don't think he would have thought his career would have been complete without winning. You know, we won the Daytona 499 several times, but to win the 500 was big.
7 times at this point in the race, with 20 laps to go, Earnhardt has been the leader. He still has yet to find the key to the gate that opens to victory lane. And it's been 59 races since Earnhardt has had a victory. They're not going to wait for one to go. 7 laps to go. Here comes Mayfield right up against the bumper of Earnhardt again. Whoa!
Lady, we feel just like you do up here in the broadcasting booth. And there's trouble coming off of turn 2. Some cars get straight away. It might be this. Whoever gets back to the start-finish line, they'll get the white and the yellow together. This could be the Daytona 500. Bobby Labonte goes to the outside. Labonte up high. Earnhardt uses the lap car of Rick Bass as a pick. 20 years of trying, 20 years of frustration. Dale Earnhardt will come to the caution flag to win the Daytona 500. Look out on pit road. Every man on every crew has come out to the edge of pit lane to congratulate the man who has dominated everything there is to win in this sport, except this race, until today.
Take a spin around in the Daytona 500 sign in the center, Dan Field. Hell yeah. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Watch that circle. He's going to spin out.
There goes the grass.
Yeah. Goodbye.
A smoke show. The most anticipated moment in the history of NASCAR racing. Dale Earnhardt rolling into victory lane in the Daytona 500.
To see the look in his face and the look in his eyes that day when he grabbed me in winner's circle, I'll never forget that.
Yes. Won a lot of races. This is that trophy right there. My name's on it now. They can't take it off. My car's going in Daytona, USA. I don't care. I love it. I want it to be there. I took me a little spin in the grass so I get the good out of it. To win it in the 20th year, your 20th try, 50th anniversary of NASCAR, to finally win the Daytona 500. Made it all complete.
I think we were as prepared as a team and an organization in 2001 to go out and win the championship as any year that we won it. And the worst happened.
And look at them go.
Here they come, gang. I told you that you think these guys would settle down, take it easy, say, hey, everybody's going to get a good finish. No way. They're going to race their hearts out.
3 wide into turn 1 again.
Let me tell you, that's the best thing that Mikey's got going for him is those 2 cars behind him. You got to pass 2 cars to get to him. I believe Dale Jr. and Dale Sr. both are doing all they can to help Michael make that happen.
Oh, look at Earnhardt. Sterling got into Earnhardt.
he's all right, isn't he?
This is undoubtedly one of the toughest announcements that I've ever personally had to make. But after the accident and turn forward at the end of the Daytona 500, we've lost Dale Earnhardt.
I can't believe it. I just can't believe it.
The bond was so tight that when Dale was gone, Richard almost gave up a lifetime of racing to deal with his grief. But his friend had told him years ago that even without him, the team must push ahead, and so it did, with a youngster behind the wheel that had once reminded Earnhardt of himself.
He didn't want to at the time, but you know, he had made that commitment to Dale if something had ever happened to him that he would continue racing.
And I said, go ahead and paint the car white, find the next number available, and we'll stick that on the car. We'll talk to Kevin Harvick, put him in it.
And here comes Jeff Gordon closing down on Harvick.
Here they go! Get him! Gordon got loose! It's Harvick! Harvick goes!
Emotional win. What does this afternoon mean to you?
Hard to say. I'm just thrilled. I kept praying for Dale to help us. He did.
Kevin's win in Atlanta, I think it was his third time out. When he won that, it was really special. I think that's what the race fans needed. I know that's what I needed. I know that's what the race team needed. And Kevin Harvick, it took a special person to be able to do what he did.
That was probably the biggest moment of the whole healing process.
If Dale would have been here, a lot of things would be different today. I know there would be a lot of things different if Dale Earnhardt was still alive. You know, if I had a chance to thank Dale today, I would thank him for being Dale Earnhardt, being my friend, being there when I needed him. And we all know he was a great race driver, but there was a special side of Dale Earnhardt that a lot of people don't understand.
I'd like to be remembered as just a good racer. I don't have to be a great racer, but just a good racer. One that, you know, raced hard, you know, accomplished a lot, but just a good racer.
Dale's death made headlines around the world. Left behind were old friends, young proteges, and his family.
The worst part, I think, was like when, you know, they put his face on there on television and you'd see 1951-2001, and that was just when it hit. And you knew that it wasn't no dream. Like, I knew that he would want me to go back to the racetrack. And instantly I didn't want to go. I didn't want to race cars anymore. I just wanted to get away from it.
The first race after Dale's death was almost too much to bear.
We're racing. Oh, we've got trouble already. 3 cars, 4 cars. Dale Jr.
And it is Earnhardt Jr.'s car who comes to rest against the outside wall from the last lap of last Sunday to the first lap of this.
This cannot be happening to that young man.
My father was in the same situation. I mean, he lost his father at about the same age. That corner in that racetrack, that's a part of my life.
Later that summer, on the same track that had claimed his father's life, Dale Jr. drove a car that bore his father's name and his grandfather's number.
For second spot, Mayfield pushes him along in the draft. Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes for the lead. To the outside in turn 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr. rockets to the front at Daytona. Listen to the crowd. White flag is out. Final lap at Daytona. 180,000 on their feet, screaming wildly. Here they come, turn 4. Final lap of the Pepsi 400. Dale Earnhardt Jr. using lessons learned from his father to go from 6th to 1st and score the victory in the Pepsi 400.
I wrote a story about him on a website and a newspaper that it got published, and it was really just it basically just kind of told it how it was, how I felt about my father. I mean, just honest as I could be about it, and I didn't really hold nothing back in there. And I took it to him to ask him whether I could let these people use it on this website, because I know how private he is and controlling he is about his name and what all that. So I took it to him and stood there, read it to him, and he got up and walked over to me about midway through it. And when I got finished, he just looked at me and he said, "I always knew that you loved me." He's like, "But that really tells me exactly how you feel about me, and I really appreciate that."
That's crazy.
He was definitely our best friend, and when he was gone, it was tough.
Our leader wasn't there anymore. When you had a bad week or anything bad happen, that guy was always standing there to pick you up.
We ain't glowed up yet. We can fix this.
Losing that, it was pretty hard. The people would not believe some of the stuff that went on after that man got killed. And this woman was totally swamped with lawsuits and this and that and trying to fulfill contracts that he had signed. All we could hear was, this is what Dale would want, this is what Dale would want, this is what Dale would want. And the problem that I had with that, most of the people that was telling me that, they didn't know what Dale Earnhardt wanted. Everybody was worried about the company failing with Dale not being there, and they were just trying to pump everybody up.
It ain't the same company that it was. I think a dagger coming to me about the end of 2004. We just come off our best season and they ripped our team apart. I looked at it as I become a number on a sheet of paper at that point. I'd probably worked there for nothing, if they wanted me to, but from that point on, it just turned into, all right, you're a number.
I thought the position that I was in, and been there 20 and a half years, I should have had more say-so over some of the stuff that was going on than I did. And it bothered me, some of the stuff that was going on, so I made a choice to leave. It was tough to drive out of there. It really was. 20 and a half years that I was there, but it was something that I felt like I had to do. Dale Jr. came to me and told me he was leaving, that he wasn't going to re-sign.
When he told me he was going to go somewhere else, I was like, all right, I'm going with you.
Can you imagine what it would mean to him to win the first time out in this car?
And the 30th Budweiser Cruiser shootout goes to the National Guard Impala, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
All right!
It doesn't take much to gauge the popularity of a NASCAR driver. Just take a stroll through the grandstands and count the T-shirts, or ride through the racetrack infield and keep score of the flags that fly over the buses and RVs. Even now, nearly a decade after his death, Dale Earnhardt is the clear-cut winner. The color black, the number 3, the unmistakable signature, emblazoned across bumper stickers, baseball caps, body parts.
It takes a race car driver to drive on the edge, and he drove on the edge almost constantly.
Bumped Terry Labonte on the last lap to win that son of a... All the Earnhardt fans were going like this. They were, it was nasty.
You either hate him or love him. And I happen to be one of the guys that loved him. I thought he was excellent.
And he was a man. He was intimidating.
He's like relation to you or something. I mean, that's just how close you get to those guys when you root for them the years that we did. I mean, I followed him from the Wrangler car, you know, right on up through the ranks.
You can really relate to him.
When he's not racing, he's out hunting. You know, he's a regular guy.
At the height of his fame, he still baled hay and cleaned chicken houses. And the people, they loved him for it. They still love him for it.
We all miss him, and we all, wish he was still here.
You think about him all the time. You wished he was still in racing. He was so good for this sport.
I'm still Dale Earnhardt. I can win a race on Sunday, and I can feed the cows on Monday and collect eggs at the chicken house, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. Because we win doesn't change my attitude or my way of life. I do a variety of things on the farm. Do them myself. Jack of all trades and the master of none. I'm still wearing blue jeans, just like I started out. They're not as worn as they were then, and I can be gone from my office for 2 weeks. I can come back to that office, and the fan mail and the autographs is piled up in the corner of the wall, halfway up the wall, and I'm going, man, I thought I did all that.
Dale Earnhardt was a man of extremes, friend, foe, everyman, Superman. And he was a hero lost too soon. History will show that Dale Earnhardt changed NASCAR forever. You'll see history made as each member of the inaugural class is inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Join us for the live induction ceremony right here on Speed, May 23rd at noon. Thanks for watching.